Welcome back. I'm Shred, aka Kevin Wood.
And I'm Soul, aka Wind Hughes. We have a great episode for you. We asked last time if people wanted to hear Kevin shred, and you weighed in. You put a little pressure on in your comments and some private messages, which we really appreciated. And today, Kevin is going to shred. And in his honor, I have on my Malfunkshun t-shirt. And this is the older t-shirts. We have a few of these left. If you're interested, just reach out. You can email us at shredandsoul@gmail.com, or you can comment and we can get a hold of you if you'd like one. Hopefully we have one in your size.
And sizes are limited.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. This is merch from shows, and I haven't done a show in a little while.
Well, you're working on a design for a new one, so there'll be a new t-shirt coming. Yeah. But this is a classic. Older one. So Malfunkshun.
That's a tank too, isn't it?
This is a woman's tank. Mm-hmm. We have men's tees and women's tees. Good catch. Mm-hmm. As well.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I decided to film a little bit of myself shredding. We'll get to that in a minute. But we did want to acknowledge that we did have some input from our last show, which was focused on ghost hunting. And Lisa mentioned the McMinimans in Portland, and I have stayed there. And it was a poverty house or a poverty institution during the Depression. And I believe that's where people who were broke went to work doing crop work or whatever, and they took care of them there. And it's definitely an interesting place. I can't say that I had any encounters there, but there definitely is a vibe there, and I look forward to possibly going there again and bringing our gear and trying to summon some spirits. I think that'd be fun.
We'll report back to you, Lisa, if we do.
And Rob sent us some pictures of some orbs that appeared in place of some senior citizens he was photographing. So we'd like to show those, and perhaps we can have Rob weigh in on some of that.
That would be great. Mm-hmm. And then we also had some other people with comments that they did particularly want us to share, but thank you for sending those as well, the messages. And one person I did want to respond to, and that's you, Nancy. And I appreciate you sharing the very tragic story many years ago of your husband's passing and the trauma that has brought into your life, and that sense that you still have that fear and can't quite release yourself from that. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, to seek out a medium who can maybe help you communicate to your husband, who's no longer that person who he once was, and or to also help you cut those energetic and psychic ties that you may have with him, because it's important you go onward with your life. And it sounds as if you've been carrying this for a long time. So my heart goes out to you, and I really appreciate the vulnerability you had in sharing the comments that you did. I also want to thank those folks, not for the last episode. Am I too far?
Yeah.
Not for the last episode, but a few ago, where people wrote some very sweet words about Tony and the episodes about Kevin and his family. So thank you for sharing that. We do appreciate it. And Tony is a gem, and we do hope to have her back on again.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of stories, and I think she warms up after a little while when the cameras are rolling. We did have a question about this, though. This is it's an apple.
Can we take it out?
Yeah, we can take it out. This was produced by some people in conjunction with the Apple release for Mother Love Bone. There's I don't know, a few of these floating around. They were not widely available, but I was lucky.
And one is on the cover of the album.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. One of them's on the cover. Yeah. And my friend Tomcat gave me that.
You can see Andy's picture on that. You're going to have to zoom in for that one. It's really, really cool. It's a paper mache apple or something. It's really, really sweet. And it says on the other side, it says Mother Love Bone. In fact, there's a lot of really wonderful memorabilia that Kevin has that we talked about sharing some of it with you as time goes by. Just items from back in the old days when you guys were kids, in the early days of Malfunction, and also posters from the Seattle era of gigs you played.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun. I really enjoy looking at those. I really do.
Yeah, tons of posters, all kinds of lyrics, all kinds of items, you know, and I still have the gear that I used back then that I still use today when I gig out.
What's the guitar from back then that you most like?
Well, I have my old Les Paul, and I bought that when I was just out of high school, and it's a tobacco burst Les Paul. I should bring it out and show you, but we need to get on with the show here. What I'll do is I'll demo that guitar on my next Shred episode.
So what song are you going to play?
Here's what happened. In response to the overwhelming requests for shredding, I found a copy of "With Your Heart, Not Your Hands" on YouTube, and I think it came from the Deep Six compilation, which I have a copy. I have a couple copies of that in vinyl, but I piped it through the stereo in my studio and decided just to play over it.
It sounds really good.
It is what it is. A couple room mics, and there you go. So, you want to cut to that clip now, or do we need more intro?
No, I think that's good. With your heart, not your hands. Well, that was amazing. I think all of you who watched that clip will agree. And I think I've shared before that I refer to Kevin as a guitar ninja because, as you could see, his hands move so quickly. Sometimes it's just a flurry of fingers, and I can't always tell exactly what he's playing because he's so fast. And I'm sure you noticed that too.
Well, it's a lot of picking too, and I think that the clip is historic in the regards that at times during live performances I would play soloing over the entire song, and that wasn't done because of any sort of intentional thing. It was just the moment would get caught up, and
Would you remember what was it in? There was an interview of either all of Soundgarden or just Kim, or maybe it's in one of the documentaries about Andy, and he was talking about, I think it was Kim was talking about Malfunkshun and you guys and the influence that you had. And what he said was that you would have shred an entire song all day long if you were allowed.
well, that's true in some way, but it only happened a few times, and it was only when it was just a train wreck on stage anyway, and so I was thinking I could salvage the song by just playing some solos, and but anyway,
But they're so good.
I didn't do that all the time, and I think that it was kind of like chasing the dragon when you just hit a million notes and hope that some of them are going to come out all right. It's kind of like old school Jimmy Page. When you listen to the old bootlegs and the live recordings of Jimmy Page, he would play and play and play and be behind the beat, play, and then all of a sudden he'd find something, and it would be melodic, and it'd be the part that you remembered. And I don't know. I come from old school that way, and people used to call it wham jamming. I think back in the 70s, people called it wham jamming, like Ted Nugent, Jimmy Page, people who could go out there and just blow doors, like Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush. And I think that, the term shredding, I use that as an AKA name, but the shredding term, it doesn't really explain a lot. I mean, I think it came from jazz, blowing doors, shredding. I don't know. It could have come from the surfing community as well, shredding some waves. I don't know, but shredding, is it descriptive? Is it correct?
Well, I know I looked it up because we had a discussion earlier today about what shredding actually is and who shreds. And Kevin said, oh, most of the shredders are metal. And I said, no, they're not. There are a lot of them that aren't. And then we went through a lot of the guitar players that we both love, like Joe Satriani, Jimmy Page, Eddie Van Halen, Yngwie Malmsteen, and a bunch of others that aren't considered necessarily metal, and shred the hell out of their guitars. We had fun talking about that.
Well, Eddie Van Halen, probably the king shredder.
Yeah. I don't know. How could you not say Yngwie?
Well, Yngwie, of course, it's neoclassical fusion, but yeah, I mean, Eddie came before Yngwie.
Yeah, but Yngwie, we've seen him together a number of times, and if you haven't seen Yngwie Malmsteen, you have to see him.
Yngwie is, he's godlike.
Yeah. Who did we go see? The group. What were they called? Remember for your birthday, I took you to the show.
Oh yeah, it was Yngwie and Steve Vai and
what did they call themselves?
I can't remember.
No, me neither.
X something. Generation X.
Yeah, Generation X, something like that. It was
Zach
amazing.
Wild was in there, and he shredded and shredded and shredded.
He was a crazy man.
Yeah.
He shredded through the audience.
Yeah, he came
up
up
the
to
aisles.
the balcony even,
and didn't miss a note.
He shredded for probably 20 minutes.
Yeah, he was amazing. They were all amazing.
But there's different types of shredding. Zach Wild plays a lot of pentatonics, a lot of repetitious kind of stuff. Yngwie sounds repetitious to the untrained ear, but it's super involved, lots of alternate pickings and sweeping arpeggios. Steve Vai has his own stamp on things. Joe Satriani, same thing. A lot of the newer guys.
They're all different.
Yeah, a lot of the newer metal guys are just phenomenal too.
And then we recently saw the show with Joe Satriani and Vi together.
Yeah,
That was a great show.
that was awesome.
That was really good.
I think
Amazing.
Yngwie though was my favorite
Well,
because
Yngwie,
he's such a rock star, and I know that just the way he throws the guitar behind, and his facial expressions as he's emoting and really connecting with the audience. You can see
he's
that
a performer.
yeah, he's the ultimate guitar performer.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, and we can't forget Erlich Roth.
Oh, Erlich
Seeing
Roth.
him, that man was having an orgasm while he was playing. We were up close, so close. We probably said this before, but being so close and being able to feel him emotionally and energetically while he flurried across that guitar. And the most beautiful guitars. That man has the most beautiful guitars I've ever seen.
Yeah, those what are those called? The Star guitars or something?
I don't
Anyway,
know, but
they're
they were
made for
custom
him.
made.
Yeah,
They were just works. I mean, every guitar is a work. Every instrument's a work of art.
yeah.
But this one, these few that he had, I'd never seen anything so beautiful. It was just amazing. And he played, you could just see on his face when he played that he was completely immersed, cosmically joined with his instrument and the sound.
And it was note for note perfect as far as
Yeah.
comparing it to the early Scorpions catalog, which he plays mostly. I mean, he did a Hendrix cover at the end of it, but even the whammy bar thing that he did from Flight of the Rainbow, one of those songs off of Flight of the Rainbow, it was perfect. And he just shut his eyes and it was,
Did he even
great.
have his eyes open for more than a second of any song?
I don't know, he's completely connected to the music. And
That's
we
good.
were, and it was so loud. He was playing through 200-watt stacks, and we were right up standing like this
Like
far
this.
away from him.
We were right there.
And the sound was blowing us back. It was so loud, but so good.
It was good.
It wasn't like, oh my God, it's hurting my ears. It was just a real treat.
Yeah, if you haven't seen him, I mean, all these people are getting older. So you have to go see the masters and see the classics before it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just amazing artists.
Indeed.
Are any other guitar players we've seen recently that were? Keith Richards.
Keith is not a shredder, but he
But
definitely...
he can shred.
Oh, I don't know about that. Can Keith Richards shred?
Keith, are you out there? You know I'm a huge
I
fan.
don't think so. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Keith Richards.
Now I'm going to do
He's
the
like the
search.
king of rock and roll guitar, if you ask
One has a
me.
blues edge to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he can shred. I'm going to find a clip. I guess we can't play it, but I can at least have you testify that I found clips of Keith Richards shredding.
I don't think it has ever happened, but
you-
we can see.
Are we going to have a bet?
Let's bet.
What's the bet?
I don't know. You make up the bet because I'm going to win.
I might have to make it in private. I may not tell you what the bet is, but I'm going to win. And if anyone out there has a clip of Keith Richards shredding,
Shredding?
send it to me, please. It'll save me a little bit of time, but I definitely will look. And then we had some fun talking about what other instruments shred. And, can this shred, can that? And I knew that I've seen some violinists shred, so I actually Googled violinists shredding, and there are plenty of
Classical
classic
violinist.
clips. Yeah, plenty of violinists shredding. It's amazing.
I'd say that's in the shred category.
Yeah.
Intricate, fat. Shredding can encompass just like blues styles, pentatonic, repetitious, fast guitar playing, or it can get as intricate and involved as the most complex classical compositions. I think the shredding is just a general term used for fast playing.
Well, when you shred, which is all the time, are you playing anything in your songs? We've talked about this a bit, and you've talked about it in interviews. I mean, some of what you do is note for note, reproduced, and some of it is improvised in the moment. How do you do that?
Most of the time, it's just improvisation. It's stream of consciousness. There are times when I'll attempt to play something that's been recorded, and I'll learn it and play it. But it's funner to just kind of see what happens, and it doesn't really. And I think people like that. It's fun. It's definitely walking that fine line of music and disaster. And I think on a good night I'm probably 85% on. Because there's times
I think you
when
don't give yourself credit.
when it comes apart a little bit. But sometimes when it comes apart, it's fun though. I mean, when I used to play with Sean Smith, who was featured on vocals for the Monument, the Malfunkshun Monument album, and the All Hail the Crown album. He thrived on going off the rails, and he always said that the greatest stuff usually happens when it goes off the rails. I didn't personally agree, but I can see how, and I know from experience, sometimes a magical happy accident happens. So there's some truth to that, I suppose.
When you were recording that clip and I was listening to it, I got a little sad because for so many years you could hear you play. And some of the newly recorded Malfunkshun music on Monument and what are some of the other things? With different singers, you had a number of different singers. And the music, it's just so good. And when you were playing out there for quite a while, in the last decade and a half or so, it was such a gift to be able to hear this music live again. And it's been a while.
It has been a while.
And I missed it. So hearing you play to the backdrop of Andy and Regan, the old guys, was really, really wonderful.
It was fun for me too because it was a familiar vibe and a familiar song. I mean, I hadn't played it in a long time. Actually, I think the last time I played it was with Jeff Loftus. Actually, I recorded a version with Jeff Loftus that charted in Turkey. With your heart, not your hands. You can find it on Spotify, whatever.
Spotify, Turkey.
And on Bandcamp, I think there's a single available.
Didn't you do that? You've done it live with Jeff Stark.
Yeah, actually, I did
Right,
do
Jeff?
it live with Jeff Stark as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He enjoyed that song.
Yeah. it's a fun song.
He could whip his hair around to it.
But nothing compares to Andy with his bulldozer bass and his vocal, and that's the version that I was shredding on. You can hear Andy in the background. It's very similar to a Malfunkshun rehearsal back in the days, back in the 80s when we didn't have a PA. You couldn't hear the vocals at all. The only time you would hear the vocals was when we do a live show.
So what you did was sort of a virtual recreation.
Yeah, it was a virtual recreation of me blowing over the whole song.
When was the last time you actually played that song with Andy?
Oh, it was probably the Deep Six release party. Or maybe, no, I think we opened for the Mentors one night at the Central.
So a long time
in
ago.
the later 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50 years? 40 years?
Yeah, quite a while.
Yeah. So did you have any sense when you were doing it?
No.
No? Just felt normal to you?
Felt normal. It's just a really easy song to play, and it's something that, certain things are just burned into you where you don't forget them. I wish I really could understand what that song was all about, though.
Well, we discussed
We were talking
the
about-
title,
Yeah.
and I asked him what the title meant, and it's Yo, Y-O, your heart, not your hands. And I immediately thought that was a sexual thing.
Hand
love me
job.
with your heart, not your hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin said he wasn't sure about that. He didn't really know. And I thought maybe it's a double entendre. With your heart, not your hand. The hand is a casual greeting, a hello, where your heart is love. And you really didn't know what Andy meant by those lyrics.
No, he was the master at creating lyrical riddles where your own meaning could come into play as far as your interpretation of the song. I was thinking, God, I wish he was here to answer these questions, but with your heart, not your hands, maybe, your hand being an instrument of creation. You can create with it, but if your heart isn't there, you can also create with your heart. You can create energy. And maybe that's what he meant. The kid was gifted in so many ways and so deep. He masked a lot of that depth with his rock and roll personality, but he was truly gifted in a way that few people are. I really miss him, and I wish he was here right now to answer these
Ask him.
questions.
Yeah, I mean, that song to me speaks to not getting what you need out of a relationship, because he talks about that in the lyrics. So I'd ask him, what was the relationship, and what needs did you have that weren't being met? Who was it?
Yeah, or was it just an experience that you had after a gig?
Or maybe he was sitting on the toilet or in the shower and he just thought of a good poem.
It could have been
It
anything.
rhymed.
A lot of stuff. I know a lot of stuff that he wrote. He did it because it sounded cool. But not to take away anything from him. He was a master songwriter. And I did help with it. I wrote the lead break, and some of the extra notes that you hear in there that follow the riff are, my contribution.
Yeah, it was really, I love the Monument CD. If you haven't heard that, you might want to go. Well, where can people find your CDs?
Bandcamp. That song was published under Kevin Wood and From the North, Malfunkshun Monument. It was Regan and Sean and Corey Kane. Unfortunately, Corey and Sean are passed away. It's just Regan and I are left. But yeah, it's available to stream, or you can get a downloaded copy of it on Bandcamp.
Is that where most of your music can be downloaded?
It can be downloaded from there.
Bandcamp?
Or, yeah, you can download it from Amazon or Apple Music if they still do that. I don't know. Most people stream these days.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you
old
still
school,
have
though.
links on your website?
Yeah, the malfunction.org goes straight to Bandcamp.
No, about Kevin Wood, guitarist, whatever.
Oh, yeah, Kevin Wood Rocks. It's on there.
Kevin Wood Rocks, it's on there too?
KevinWoodRocks.com.
Yeah, we have that link
forgot I
in the
had that.
description. That's what you need me for, to remember this stuff for you.
Yeah.
Or like you remind me to turn off the pot on the stove, or I remind you to turn the faucet off that's been running in the sink. Yeah.
It's teamwork.
It takes two. Any other things you can think of about the music? Well, I want to also address your studio. That's the studio, his room. We each have a room where Kevin plays. So that's not created for the recording of that. That's where he spends most of his time, and the wall is just full of guitars. There's a few of them that aren't even on the wall that he has. An amazing collection of guitars.
Yeah. For that clip, I used a Stratocaster that I put together with parts. It's a Japanese 53 reissue body, one-piece alder body, and then with a Warmoth neck, and then it's got DiMarzio stacked humbuckers, and I played it through my Carvin Legacy. I have a first-generation Legacy combo that I used for that. And plenty of gain, nice amp. It just weighs a ton. Kind of hard to get it out of the studio, but
You need a much bigger room.
yeah, much bigger. I'd like to start using the living room to display and and set up some
The
amps.
living room's for my drums. You have the guitar next to our bed.
Yeah.
I
No,
know I've
there's-
said this before. If he could have one next to the toilet, and he can have one next to the chair where he eats, you don't need one by the couch because you have it on your lap all the time. And the Super Bowl is today. You'll get this next week, so it'll be a week after. Go Chiefs!
Yeah.
But I know you will have the guitar on your lap to watch the Super Bowl, won't you?
Maybe not. I've been trying to, this is the last game, and I want to enjoy it because I love football, and these are the last plays we're going to get to see. And but we do have the ability to watch old games on the NFL Network.
Well, now basketball's really kicking in. We're huge Warrior fans. We watch almost all the Warrior games. And there have been some great trades. Butler just came on the team, so it's getting exciting. If you saw the game last night, again, this will be a week later when you hear this, so we'll see what happens with Butler on the team. But yeah, basketball's kicking in just as football's fading out,
Yeah.
which is really good.
Yeah. It's all good. And then, I'm a huge track and field fan. I do like watching alpine skiing. And hey, Formula One. We're big Formula One.
It's going to start soon, and then the Netflix series, Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
That starts in a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Formula One. We watch all the races when Formula One's on.
Certain sports are better for playing guitar too than others.
Which ones?
Football's great for playing guitar because there's so many commercials and there's so many interruptions to the action.
All these big breaks.
Yeah, if you start playing guitar to a basketball game, all of a sudden it's the third quarter and you go, what? I don't know what's going on.
They were 20 points behind when I picked up my guitar, and now they're 20 points ahead.
Yeah.
In 5 minutes. What else do we like to watch? House Hunters.
Oh, yeah.
My Lottery Dream House. When you want to veg and watch something mindless, My Lottery Dream House is really good. House Hunters is good. I like that because when they have the international ones, these are people looking for homes in Thailand or Vietnam or France, and you get to see what your money buys and what cultural norms are for different places around the world. That's why I like to watch that.
Yeah, your money can go a lot farther in Hanoi.
Yeah. It can.
Not a slam to the Vietnamese.
And your
sure it's
kitchen's
wonderful.
very small.
Mm-hmm.
It might be one counter with a hot plate.
Yeah.
It's amazing what your expectations, how you adjust expectations to different parts of the world.
I know here in our culture we have the bigger kitchen the better, and the more square foot, 2,000-3,000 square feet.
Yeah, we have a great kitchen.
Yeah, we have a
I
pretty
like
decent
our kitchen.
But it's nowhere near like some of these lottery dream houses that these people are buying. And
I watch that because it reminds me that it could be me, because I'm the one in our family that buys the lottery tickets.
yeah, and she's got to buy the winning ticket.
Yeah. And if I don't, that's fine. I'll be happy. But it would be great. One of the things I write about is the responsibility, and I keep saying this, but one of these episodes I'm going to do it on becoming a spiritual revolutionary, and a hyphen between the R and the E, because evolution, spiritual evolution, with the R in front of it, is a revolutionary act. And I do feel that long since my days as a raging hippie and thinking that the bourgeois was just terrible and money was evil, I came to the understanding that money used with love and compassion and responsibly can be transformative in the world. And so it's really important for awake, conscious people to have as much of it as possible so it can be used for the good on this planet, for the good of humanity. And so I buy lottery tickets as a spiritual responsibility to humanity, that I have as much of it in my hands as I can to do transformative things in the world, which also includes transforming our lives in some way, which is a fine thing to do. It's okay for us to have lives that are not overridden by stress. It's okay to have warm shelter and good food and even a little extra.
And leisure time.
Leisure time. Time is everything.
Leisure time is so important and so fleeting. I think most people don't have a whole heck of a lot of leisure time.
Yeah, money without leisure time is not quite the same. And leisure time without money is sometimes very difficult. And a balance of the two is actually quite enjoyable.
So win that lottery for us.
Yeah, I might buy tickets tomorrow when I go through town.
Okay.
Yeah. And on that note, please subscribe, because that helps us to go forward and to improve our studio and to be able to have the time and the ability to bring more episodes forward and to look at the technical ability to do interviews and to grow and evolve our channel together, which we really would like to do. So subscribe, please. It's free. It just means you'll get notice when a new episode comes, and send it to your best friends, to your grandmother, to your aunts, your uncles, maybe even your strangers, neighbors. Send a link to them so they all get on board and subscribe.
We're having a lot of fun doing this, and we hope you're having fun listening to it.
And one day soon, we're going to produce our Shred and Soul mugs. So when we get our act together a little further, which subscriptions will help us be able to do, you can order a Shred and Soul
mug
too.
And you don't have to drink coffee out of it. You can drink whatever you want.
That's right. Mine's a yerba mate.
Yeah, we're hammered on yerba mate right now.
Yeah. So subscribe and check back in next Tuesday.
Okay, I guess that's a wrap.
Okay, we're done.
Did we cover everything?
I think so. We have opportunity to cover it next week.
Yeah, and we're set up to do some shredding, and I think that might be fun to have some shredding a little bit here and there. Maybe a shredding segment. We don't have to go into it, talk about it, and tear it all apart. I mean, we could just like throw some of that in there, maybe.
I think it would be interesting if you did a segment on what the shredding is. You know, what is it that you're doing? What does sweeping mean on a guitar? You know, what do these terms mean?
Maybe make something up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, be spontaneous.
Yeah. Well, I have some things that I've made up that I can reproduce. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Till then.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.